It was a lot that kind of led to it. The 2 games before when she was in Connecticut. First game, she came in and hitting, elbowing, and I talked to one of the refs when she checks in. Hey, we got history from the first game.
There's not just the voice. There's these pictures, that have come out. And I know a lot of people immediately want to say, well, these are, they're not real pictures, right? They're doctored photographs. But this one I saw, I was like, man, that's actually the girlfriend in the background. But let's say this is doctored.
The question isn't why we try to get Brittney Griner home. We should be trying to get all of our people home. Again, that would have included the hundreds or if not thousands of people we left behind in Afghanistan when we turned the place over to the Taliban in cowardly fashion. But I'm glad that Brittney Griner is home. The question is why we traded one of the world's most notorious arms dealers for a WNBA player. That seems like a really crappy trade.
What if I told you the WNBA just dropped its spiciest twist since someone tried to dunk in slow motion? A doctor, a clipboard, and Brittney Griner walk into the truth booth. And what came out? Oh, it's wild. Buckle up, because this isn't just basketball tea. It's a full-on gender reveal party with plot twists. Stay tuned, because what you're about to hear will make your jaw hit the hardwood. Let's get into the madness.
Before we actually go, I just wanted to continue on with that. We had to end our SiriusXM show. We said goodbye to Anna, but I just have a couple of other thoughts. We've talked a lot in this show about the dangers to women, the basketball players from that school, Lowell in Massachusetts, who were injured when that trans player, a boy pretending to be a girl, hurt them with the KIPP Academy. Remember that? We've talked about the girl, the field hockey player in Massachusetts who got her teeth knocked out and severe facial injuries from playing against a biological boy. We've talked at length about Peyton McNabb. There have been many other situations. And that's reason enough. Just the obvious risk of putting your girl up against a post-pubescent boy.
Dave Chappelle, the noted comedian, said, what if LeBron James, essentially, I'm paraphrasing here, what if LeBron James had decided to transition to being a woman? Mm-hmm. He'd average 800 points a game. Who's going to stop him? That's what he brought up. He said, so we think that we're being fair. We think that we're being okay with our thinking, but we're not taking it into total consideration in terms of how it really, really registers with us. And so when somebody like you comes along and you're very, very passionate about it and you're going at folks for okaying this stuff, they want to attack you. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, you can't find something better to do? I mean, listen, Megyn Kelly's on a game, but you certainly ain't gonna win this argument because we're watching and we see, who couldn't see that you were right? It was people who didn't want to see.
Just like that, Brittney Griner went from WNBA MVP to MVP of the Conspiracy Olympics. The court's still hardwood, but now the drama is pure telenovela, only with fewer subtitles and more testosterone allegations. Apparently, someone somewhere with a stethoscope and a suspicious amount of free time decided that Griner might not just be dunking on defenders, she might be dunking on gender norms too.
Brittney Griner is, in fact, a man. One of the videos that give us cause to say that is this video. It is from her Instagram stories from years and years ago. And when it comes to Instagram, they use a combination of like AI detection and plus manual surveyors to make sure that no explicit content ends up on the platform. So clearly whatever AI detection system was used when Brittney posted this and it stayed up for 106 weeks was not like, oh, this is a female chest, we have to take this down. Oftentimes, if breast cancer runs in a family, women will preemptively get like double mastectomies.
Because when you're 6'8", built like an action figure and rocking vocal cords that sound like Barry White's ghost, it's only a matter of time before the internet runs a DNA test through a meme. And just when you think it's all just locker room gossip with a bad Wi-Fi signal, in struts the alleged doctor, clipboard, credentials, and a mission. Reveal what the WNBA never put on a stat sheet, what's in Brittney's box score below the belt.
She had a press conference and they asked her and it was like, what do you think about, transgenders participating in women's sports? And she said she was an advocate for it. Like she believed that they should be able to participate in women's sports.
Then I believe she should have been in the male prison in Russia then.
That's what I said.
If she believed transgender women, then she should have been in the male prison in Russia. Then transgender women that want to be men should go. Now transgender men who want to be women.
See, it's all confusing.
Now, this doctor, who, let's be honest, probably graduated from the University of YouTube comments, claims to have evidence, not vibes, not hearsay, full-blown anatomical proof that Britney's X and Y chromosomes might be playing full-court press, which would make her, according to this mystery PhD, a man in a woman's league. If true, that would mean Britney hasn't just been blocking shots. She's been blocking entire gender discussions like Dikembe Mutombo in a wig.
Usually there is, but it's very difficult because you say that tattoo, but when you're taking a picture, it flips, right? So it kind of gives it like a mirror image. So that's not necessarily the right side. That's his left side, right? So there wouldn't be a tattoo. So you got to take these into account. This one though is the legit, like, you know, if you're looking at photos and you're like, okay, which ones are not doctored? Which ones seem to be real? This would be the one. These were pulled, and you can look these up yourself. They have like these Wayback Machines for Instagram that save photos.
Every slow motion replay of her grabbing rebounds now feels like an episode of Scooby-Doo. Let's see who Britney really is, says the internet, as they yank off her metaphorical mask and reveal Chad, Kyle, Steve, who knows. All that's clear is someone's MD license is being used like a backstage pass to America's favorite gender panic concert. Because of course, this couldn't just be about sports. Nah, this had to turn into gender gatekeeping on steroids. Or maybe testosterone injections. Depending on which Reddit thread you fall into, people suddenly became geneticists, endocrinologists, and spiritual advisors all at once. Look at the jawline, one cries. That's a dude's laugh, another insists, as if being tall and deep-voiced automatically qualifies someone for the NFL Combine. But the alleged doctor wasn't done. Oh no. They broke out charts, measurements, hormonal analysis that sounds suspiciously like it came from a Snapple fact. Shoulders too broad, they say. Hands like baseball mitts. The next thing you know, they'll be measuring her shoe size to determine political leanings. Apparently, if you're above a women's size 13, you're no longer female. You're a Marvel villain in sneakers.
Guy who pretended...
Is that like a Spanish name?
No, it's not. It's a movie basically about a man who had to impersonate a woman so that he could play professional basketball.
Ah, okay. Kind of
Yeah.
like a Mrs. Doubtfire.
Kind of,
but,
exactly. Kind of like a Big Mama's house type of thing.
But there's, funny enough, I mean, you mention it as a movie, but there's a lot of that going on where
Yeah.
now men are pretending to be women to play in women's sports leagues.
Isn't that just ironic?
Because, you know, recently a video clip of Brittney Griner has been going viral.
Yeah, where she says that it's unfair that transgender women can't play professional sports.
And almost everyone, to the last person in the comments, is saying, yo, this is a dude.
And somehow, the WNBA is just sitting there like a nervous parent at a parent-teacher conference. We just wanted to play basketball, they whisper, while half the country turns Griner into the poster child for a biological debate she never signed up for. You'd think someone smuggled the Dead Sea Scrolls into the locker room the way people are dissecting her medical history. But let's be honest, this isn't about science. If it were, the doctor wouldn't be revealing truths through TikToks with dramatic zoom-ins and royalty-free thriller music. This is the same energy as flat earthers yelling into ring lights. Except now, it's here's why Britney's knees prove she's secretly Bob. It's gender detection by vibes, and the vibes are wearing a lab coat from Party City. And just imagine the press conference if this were even halfway true. Yes, I've been dominating the WNBA for years. And surprise, plot twist, I've got a beard and witness protection. The post-game interviews would become gender reveals with confetti cannons and hormone panels. Opposing teams would start bringing OB-GYNs to the court, just in case. Timeout, coach. We need to run a pelvic scan.
Widespread speculation for a while now, but it's really kind of come to a head on Twitter over the last couple of days that Brittney Griner, the WNBA's Brittney Griner, is in fact, a man. And where a lot of this actually surfaced from, and I mean, you guys could probably say like, yo, isn't it obvious? Like her voice, you know, there's a lot of things that you can kind of look towards. However,
Meanwhile, the fans are divided. Half are clutching pearls and Googling female pelvic structure, while the other half just want to know if she's still dropping 30 points a night. Spoiler, she is. Which means even if she were a dude, the league still hasn't figured out how to stop her. That's the real scandal. They're busy checking chromosomes while Britney's out here casually stuffing layups and shattering gender assumptions like backboards. And don't forget the internet detectives. They've paused every photo of Britney stretching, blinking, breathing, looking for a 5 o'clock shadow or an Adam's apple playing peekaboo. It's like Where's Waldo, but if Waldo's hiding inside a WNBA jersey and the prize is righteous indignation. All of this begs the question, what exactly would change? Would the league send her home with a thank you card and a gender reassignment checklist? Would her trophies be repossessed like a used Toyota? Or would we all just admit that maybe, just maybe, she's a phenomenal athlete who doesn't fit inside a binary box made of 1950s gender expectations and YouTube doctorates? Of course not, because that would make sense. And nothing about this saga is here for logic. It's here for clicks, outrage, and a whole lot of people screaming Biology 101 without ever passing the class.
I'm ready to get there. I'm ready to just learn from her. Got to play with her a little bit with USA, and I'm just ready to feed off her and just give all I can to the Phoenix Mercury.
A round of applause for my wife, honestly. She had the hardest job, honestly. Thank you so much, babe, for being there for me.
So here we are, Griner dominating the court while allegedly having her gender audited by a rogue doctor with the enthusiasm of a conspiracy theorist and the discretion of a TMZ reporter. And in the meantime, the scoreboard stays the same. Griner, 92 internet speculation, still scoreless. And just when you thought the drama peaked with a clipboard-wielding doctor doing gender forensics on a basketball court, Brittney Griner takes a verbal detour and body slams Caitlin Clark like it's WWE SummerSlam. No layup, no finesse, just a straight-up slur that echoed across the league louder than a missed free throw in a silent gym. The same league that's been selling empowerment like hotcakes suddenly found itself starring in its own self-sabotage infomercial. WNBA, now featuring petty, problematic punchlines. Caitlin Clark, the rising golden girl of women's basketball, barely had time to stretch her rookie knees before she got hit with Griner's verbal alley-oop of disrespect. And it wasn't subtle. No, this wasn't a passive-aggressive side-eye or a tweet with some people shade. This was Griner going full Grinch at Whoville, launching a cheap shot so low it probably tripped over its own morality on the way out. The irony? Griner has spent years advocating for fairness, equality, and not being reduced to stereotypes, only to lob a stereotype herself with the accuracy of a three-point sniper.
Who cares, right? But the things that people are noticing is that there's no scars, right, for the surgery. And it's like, well, you know, some women don't really have big breasts, so they wouldn't even require that surgery if they had it. And a lot of times kids nowadays are taking hormones so early that if it's before puberty, that wouldn't be an issue again, you know? Is that the case? I don't know. Like I said, the voice is what really goes. Let's listen to that voice again. I mean, that's what kind of sells it, really.
So then she's traded to Dallas. Game's going. She comes in. Same thing again. Just the elbowing, two-hand chunking, the running in hard, leading with the elbow into...
I don't know, man. Maybe it's a coincidence she's a lesbian, right?
And this time, the WNBA didn't get to pretend like it's just intense competition or passion for the game. This wasn't passion. This was pettiness with a megaphone, wrapped in a headband, and dunking on common sense. Suddenly, the league's brand message started to wobble like a folding chair at a barbecue. Equality, unity, respect. Unless, of course, you're Caitlin Clark, in which case, welcome to hazing culture disguised as veteran wisdom. For the first time in forever, the WNBA actually looked like it might wake up. Not stir, not roll over and hit snooze. Actually sit up, blink into the chaos it helped create, and mutter, "Wait, are we the drama?" Because Griner's slur didn't just hit Caitlin, it ripped a hole in the league's credibility parachute mid-flight. Suddenly, sponsors started coughing politely. networks that just added more airtime looked at their schedules with a raised eyebrow. And fans, real fans, not just Twitter hot takers and hoodie avatars, started wondering why the league that preaches empowerment is tolerating a player verbally body-checking a rookie who's done nothing but play the game and cash her NIL deals. Not exactly a crime of the century. And here's where the WNBA brass finally showed signs of cognitive life. You could almost hear the meetings behind closed doors. Do we let this go? Or do we finally act like a real sports league with actual accountability?
Viral clip. After she made a foul play, Griner appears to mouth something rather controversial. It might be, though we don't know, trash and possibly white girl. Others have suggested it might be trash and fucking whack call. We don't know what she's mouthing, but she seems to, have a mouth on her and not exactly be in the gratitude space. Griner herself hasn't commented. Now, why is that? If you were being accused of making racist statements, I think you'd want to clear that up quickly. You'd race to the cameras and put out a statement on X.
Because there comes a time when sisterhood can't be a get-out-of-jail-free card for open mockery. You can't scream for respect from the NBA while letting one of your biggest stars publicly torch a rookie like she's an unwanted bag of gym socks. Caitlin Clark, love her or loathe her, is the best thing to happen to the WNBA's viewership since someone realized games could air on channels people actually watch. She brought new eyes, fresh excitement, and more buzz than the league's had in decades. And Griner, instead of showing leadership or even basic PR common sense, turned that spotlight into a heat lamp and tried to cook her like a microwaved Hot Pocket. And now the league's got to decide, is it a professional sports organization, or is it a poorly moderated group chat where veteran players get to bully the next generation while hiding behind hashtags? Because if the WNBA wants to grow, it can't just be dunks, drama, and drag sessions on rookie talent. It needs professionalism, structure, and maybe, just maybe, some actual consequences when a player launches a verbal grenade on national TV. There's finally pressure, real pressure. The kind that doesn't come from inside the bubble of we support each other no matter what, but from outside, money, fans, media execs asking, why is your MVP throwing slurs at the player keeping your ratings alive?
Brittney Griner was caught on tape during a game with the Indiana Fever, dropping racial slurs against Caitlin Clark. I mean, pretty obviously doing so. And it doesn't take a lot of genius to lip read Brittney Griner, whose voice, by the way, is about as low as mine is, calling her trash and an effing white girl. Now, of course, if Caitlin Clark had ever suggested the same in reverse, using black as opposed to white in that sentence, that'd be the end of her WNBA career. But Brittney Griner is going strong. It's totally fine.
The league's image is on the line, and suddenly, so is Griner's legacy. Because the same mouth that once fought for justice is now putting the WNBA on a PR watch list. It's no longer cute. It's no longer just trash talk. It's a billboard-sized contradiction with a dunk highlight reel. And unless the WNBA wants to become a case study in how to fumble momentum, it's going to have to do something it's never done with much confidence. Draw a line. Because right now, Brittney Griner isn't just spitting slurs, she's spitting in the face of everything the league claims to stand for. And if the WNBA doesn't check that, then it's not just Caitlin Clark who loses, it's everyone. At this point, it's not even a debate, it's a cosmic mismatch. Brittney Griner isn't just in the wrong league, she's in the wrong dimension. Watching her in the WNBA is like watching King Kong play mini golf. Overqualified, underchallenged, and absolutely demolishing the environment. Let's face it, Griner doesn't belong in the WNBA anymore. She belongs in the Man, the mythical league where every post move requires a forklift license and trash talk comes with subtitles because it's legally considered a second language. She's out here swatting shots like she's offended they even dared approach the rim. Opponents aren't guarding her, they're surviving her. Some of these women are just trying to get through the game without getting posterized into next week.
Brittney Griner just called Caitlin Clark a trash effing white girl. Caitlin Clark has been picked on and abused ever since she entered the league in 2024, and now Brittney Griner is joining in on the action, saying that she is an effing white trash right now. Let's all remember the character of Brittney Griner. This is the same woman who got caught smoking weed in Russia and was jailed. And then Joe Biden made a trade for the merchant of death and returned him back.
Griner doesn't jump for rebounds. She just reaches into the sky and claims them like Zeus picking apples. The whole thing feels like a prank that's gone on too long. This was a social experiment. Put her in the man. Let her go toe-to-toe with the 7-footers who shave twice during halftime. Let her box out centers who bench press minivans and wear elbow pads just to hug their kids. Because at this rate, Griner's WNBA dominance feels less like athleticism and more like someone accidentally clicked create a player and maxed out every slider. And look, there's nothing wrong with being good, dominant even, but there's dominant, and then there's statistically implausible. She's not competing, she's cosplaying as a boss level. The rest of the league is out here running plays, sweating buckets, trying to finesse the game, and Britney just shows up, dunks on your dreams, and casually drops a slur like it's part of the warm-up. It's gotten to the point where commentators don't even bother analyzing her performance. How'd Griner get 32 and 14 tonight? Oh, she stood up and remembered she was playing. The only real suspense is whether the rim survives another quarter of Griner rage. And the opponents? They're not adjusting their defense. They're adjusting their life insurance.
Can call a white girl white trash. She can. Actually, she said a white girl. She supposedly fouled out against Caitlin Clark. And on the bench, she says,
for the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
White girl. I mean, you can read it all day.
Well, some people were saying she was saying bad call.
For the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
No.
It does look like she says that she has a W there.
Let's say Caitlin Clark said, black girl, she would be in trouble.
And let's not forget the awkward elephant in the gym. The woman allegedly playing with a man's physiology, verbally harassing her peers, and still being hailed as a role model by a league desperate for PR-CPR. If this is what peak performance looks like, then what's the point of having rules, rosters, or reality? The man needs her. Not because she's better than every guy in the NBA. Let's not get delusional. But because she's clearly bored playing against women she physically outclasses in every category like it's a glitch. Her presence in the WNBA is like letting a grizzly bear compete in a dog show. Sure, it technically qualifies under mammal, but come on, there's a whole league of muscle-bound men just waiting for a challenge, and Britney? She's wasting her time bodying rookies who still live with their parents. The WNBA needs balance, not bulldozers. It needs competition, not a weekly reminder that one player has the power of a forklift and sneakers. Send her to the man, she's already halfway there.